Hi everybody, my name's Anne. Thanks for tuning into Art on the Creek today. This is my home studio in Parker, Colorado, and I'm happy that you're here with me. Today I want to talk to you from one artist to another about self-doubt. It's something that really plagues us, and it's something that only we can work to stop in our own heads. And I thought that we could just have a little chat about that today. And while we're chatting, I thought we could work on a little motivational poster. This was such a fun idea that was brought to me by one of our viewers. So one of our friends here on YouTube, Ellen, this one comes right from your suggestion. So if you're ready, let's go see how to think positive and be positive. Here we go. Before we begin, let me just tell you what supplies I'm using. I have a Silicone pastel card that's made for oil pastels, and I thought I would play with these Paul Rubens today. I've got kind of a light tan color here to sketch our reference photo, and you can see when I hop my thumb down the paper there, I am measuring size and placement of his head. When you're drawing humans, figures, the height is typically 7 or 8 heads tall, and you've got about 3 heads for the head and torso, and that's where the waist hits, and then the remainder of that would be the legs and feet, etc. So, and of course, female figures would be a little bit shorter than that, but proportionally, in general, that 7 to 8 heads tall is a good rule of thumb to follow. Rule of thumb. It quite literally is my thumb in this case because that's what I use to measure. At any rate, here's what happened. On one of the other videos that I did, I can't remember which one of you wonderful people out there, Ellen, thank you so much for suggesting this. She's just such a wonderful writer with her comments. She always has something positive to say. And she mentioned that at one point, the negative thoughts in her head when she's creating something reminded her of the Swiss Guard at the Vatican. Because, you know, when you go visit the Vatican, you need to be hold a certain level of decorum and respectfulness. And every now and then the crowd would get a little bit vocal with its whispering. And the Swiss Guard would say, silencio, silencio. So silence those negative thoughts. And that is when I decided in my little chat exchange with Ellen in the comments that it would be fun to make a little kind of a cartoony motivational poster for your studio, and that I would do one with the Swiss Guard saying silencio. So this is what this is from, and why I decided to paint a Swiss Guard, because it's a little bit unique of a subject probably. I debated whether or not to do this in watercolor, but then I decided I really wanted to play with these pastels because they do have a fun ability to create kind of an impasto look. Perhaps one of the most famous painters who used the impasto technique was Vincent van Gogh, and his brush strokes are visible because he laid the paint on thickly. And that is exactly what impasto means, to take the paint, and in this case it's oil pastel, what I'm doing here, and to lay it on thickly. So with varying pressure, I'm able to really get some fun texture in this Swiss Guard here. I do like the way it came out. It's kind of, it's fun. It's just fun. But enough about the painting for now. Let's talk about self-motivation. Now, when you sit down and you're faced with a blank canvas, I would be willing to bet, because this is what I do, that the first thought that comes into your head is, this is going to be great. I'm going to paint the best seashell that I've ever painted. I'm going to paint a portrait of my cat, and it's going to be the best one that I've ever done of him. And then you get going, and things go awry and it doesn't happen. And sometimes, you know, you can get those thoughts going in your head that say, why are you doing this? You have no talent. You're not worth it. You can't do this. This isn't worth even sharing. This is bad. You are not talented. My friends, do not listen to those thoughts. I cannot tell you how detrimental that is to you as an artist. It's not about creating something perfect or creating something in the style of someone else. what your art should be about is about helping you to grow as a person, helping you to discover who you are, and giving you an outlet, a creative outlet to help balance your mind, balance your thoughts, and to really just play and have fun. That's the one thing that I just constantly talk about on this channel, is that art is there for us to play, to be free, to express who we are, what we see, how we see the world. And we have to do that. We have to be able to do that in a safe space where we won't be judged. And honestly, I think our community of artists here on YouTube, for the most part, is truly a genuinely wonderfully supportive community. If it weren't, I wouldn't be here. And I am here. I'm your number one fan. If you are watching this, I am your number one fan. That's it. That's all there is to it. I believe that everyone needs a cheerleader. And I am very happy to help whoever you are and help you achieve whatever goals it is that you want to achieve. Because that's the other thing that art should be about. It should be about your goals, not what society is telling you to do, or even an art teacher, for heaven's sakes. I have heard more and more stories from well-accomplished professional artists that will say that they had, let's say, a junior high or high school art teacher that just nearly killed their desire for art. It happened to my daughter for one of her classes. I was one of her foreign language teachers. She just really had a chip on her shoulder for our daughter, and it made our daughter hate that foreign language. That is exactly the opposite of what teaching is supposed to do. You know, there are certain things when we're taking classes that in a formal setting that we need to show that we understand a skill. So perhaps there are some narrow metrics that you need to create within, and that, you know, that's understandable, that's fine. Your creativity, though, should never be squelched. If it is, if you find someone is telling you that, gosh, why'd you do it that way? Or, oh, well, it's nice, but I would have rather you did this. That's them, not you. That's a language that is coming out of their feelings, their life. My dad always told me that we could never understand what people do, what motivates them, why they say what they say, unless we have lived their life. Or he always used the old adage, walked a mile in their shoes. And I have found that to be so incredibly true. And my mom added on top of that, that you can't ever change people. You just can't. And I think that that's where stress comes from. And I think that she's right. I think that we can put extra stress on ourselves that we really don't need. All of these things that are negative energy, negative thoughts. The studies are showing now that it really does affect our physical health, our mental health, our physical health. If the very reason that you are participating in a creative endeavor, whether it is sewing, knitting, cooking, woodworking, pottery, anything, any creative endeavor at all, if you are participating in that, chances are you're doing it because you like it, because you enjoy it. And when you enjoy something, it truly does give you endorphins. It releases a positive hormone in your brain. And that is, my friends, what creates joy. And whatever hormone that is, whether it's serotonins or dopamine or endorphins, those feelings need to be nurtured and strengthened, because, you know, if you are constantly surrounded by negative energy and negative thoughts, you're going to end up with a negative opinion about yourself. And I think that in our artist community, we truly need to continue to support one another, and we need to stop being our own worst enemies. So those awful thoughts that are in your head, those negative thoughts, the ones that say, why are you doing this? You're a poser. You can't do this. This is, you're a no talent hack. All of those negative thoughts, whatever they are, silencio. Do not let them invade your space. This is your creative space, your canvas, the world as you see it. No one can tell you if that's right or wrong. However you choose to express yourself, whether it is in your identity, whether it is through your poetry, anything at all. If it's a painting, a drawing, in how you decorate your home, anything like that, it's you, it's yours. You should do it because you like it. You should enjoy something because you like it. And conversely, if you're not enjoying it, stop doing it. Even when I have I was going to say writer's block, but when I have artist block, I tend to just walk away from my studio. I take a little vacation. I try and do other things. I will go out and focus on hiking in nature. That's a real big one for me, is to surround myself with nature. Physical activity is also very cleansing and good for me. If I can work up a good sweat and make myself really physically tired, then chances are I can regenerate that creative spark. I have found that over the years with me, and I'm almost 59 years old, so it's taken a long time for me to figure this out. But I have determined, because I've had plenty of those negative thoughts. In my 20s, they were more about my appearance. In my 30s, it was more about my viewpoints. And then in my 40s, this is not until then did I finally decide to believe that I knew what I was doing. I think it's just something that comes with age, because I'm finding that arc that I went through of feeling confident and really not caring what other people think. I felt like that the ages that finally came to me is pretty common among my friends anyway. So at this age now that I'm facing 59 at the end of this year, I feel like I have finally arrived at a point in my life where I am comfortable enough in my own skin to be able to encourage others. And you know what? It's easier. It is so much easier. I am not plagued with doubt. I am not plagued with worry. I am fully embracing that everything I do is part of a journey. That's why I always tell you guys to sign and date your artwork. Be proud of what you do. Sign and date it on the front. Don't write on the back. Don't you do that. You make sure that you put it on the front where you can see it and everyone can be proud of it, because you know what? You did make that and you should be proud of it. So what if it's wonky? So what if it's not, the way that you thought it was going to come out? It was practice. That's all it is. Any kind of a learned skill can become a talent with enough practice. Don't continue to look at your art as this end game. It's got to be the journey. I mean, that's so overplayed, and it's really used ad nauseum on social media. But you know what? It's true. Art is about the journey. Do not self-criticize. Do not tell yourself that you're not worth it, that you can't do it. Everything that you're doing is worth it. It is good. I have never thrown any of my art away. The only thing that I've thrown away are swatches where I've tested paints. I don't throw anything away. Every single part of it, I learn from everything that I do. And in fact, some of the things that I've made recently, I'm really not happy with them, but I keep them and I keep looking at them, because I've gotten to a point where I can distance myself from what I create. Now I'm not this magical being that it doesn't affect me, because it does. I have things that I'm really not proud of, but I really do like looking at them and discerning, what is it about this piece, separate from me, this piece that I'm not proud of? Did I not like the way that I drew that line over there? Or did I not like the look on the person's face that I drew? Or was I just lazy and really should have gotten up and sharpened my pencil? Things like this do happen, and they happen a lot to me. In fact, I battle these thoughts every single day. When I tell myself that I'm going to have fun and that I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing, I'm going to make some art, and I'm going to share it with people, because I hope it will bring them joy too. I feel like that we're all kind of experiencing the same thing at one point or other in our lives. Nobody's ever experienced this for the first time. There are a million artists in the world. There have been a million artists through the centuries. I'm not the first one to show you how to use oil pastels. Maybe you have used them and you've got some great tips and tricks. If you have those types of things, don't keep them to yourself. Share them in the comments. It's wonderful to be able to have this platform where we can talk as a group, share, learn, grow from one another, not just from our mistakes, but from our joys, from our celebrations. That's what social media really should be about, is sharing the joys, sharing the beauties, sharing everything that is wonderful about being who we are as artists and as people. My friends, thank you so much for following along. And if those negative thoughts come in your head, tell them, silencio. I hope you guys have a wonderful, positive week, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye now.